All right. Welcome everybody to the Building Doctor Show. I am your host, Jens Johansson. Glad to see you here today to learn more about your buildings. And we're going to kick it right off. We're going to talk about pie. Why? Because pie's good. And I was just looking at a weekly reporting tool, and somebody said last week's high was pie, and last week's low was too much pie. So put your favorite pie into the chat. Let's make sure this thing is working, and we'll get some pie results. So welcome to this monthly free webinar where we share information about how to keep your buildings in good condition and therefore maximum value, and keep your community happy by giving them pie and not fighting with one another. Everybody knows that your home can get emotional, and we want to help you navigate that. And so today's show is a month-by-month guide for what to do in 2023. We're approaching the end of the year of 2022. We're kind of like, okay, it's winter time. It's not a good time to be working on our building outside. What else can we be doing? We're going to talk about that today. And so we'll go through each month in detail. So take notes. Be sure to download the printable version of this webinar. It's going to be turned into a guide, which Brooke, the producer, will drop into the chat. So as we're talking about pie, we've got lots of pumpkins. Oh, key lime. Yeah. All right. Peanut butter pie. Fantastic. You guys are making me hungry. Okay. So today's show is sponsored by J2. We're a fantastic group of engineers, designers, and project managers that help diagnose, prescribe, and treat sick buildings. So just like a doctor, we diagnose the problem, prescribe the right plan, and help you treat the problem by overseeing the contractors and making sure they put it back together correctly. You can find us in Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, and Salt Lake City, Utah, and the surrounding states, and find us on the web at j2consultants.com. So we're going to run a little poll here. What that does is you know where we are from, and we want to know where you are from and how you work within the community. Are you a board manager or board manager, contractor, just interested in what's going on here? And that'll help us tailor our questions. We got a lot of registrations this month. We're really high. We're over 100 registrations, which is awesome. That means you guys are sharing the good news and good resources. And it looks like we've got 8 of us that are able to attend live. We get it. This runs at 3:30 on Tuesday. So if you're like me, you follow the replays and you'll get that. And so while this poll is running, we're going to talk about the format of the show. It's webinar based. And we do this so that we can share questions with you that we've received all month, but also there's a live Q&A section for you to ask your questions, and you can make this a live discovery that can help everybody else. And we also like to show it on a screen. We'll show you photos. We can do a little whiteboarding. Gives us a little bit more time than the 10-second or 30-second or whatever videos we have out on the social media platforms. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. Just search any of those for J2 Consultants. You'll see over 300 good videos. Well, I should say 300 videos. Some of the earlier ones are kind of rough, but you'll still get a kick out of it. So let's go through the poll. We've got Washington, Oregon representing today. We've got lots of managers. And you're hearing about it from newsletter and other people. And we've got some people there who have done a big repair project, so big and minor. So we can share those results briefly. Okay, disclaimers. This show is free. Put away your credit cards. We aren't selling you anything. This show is for educational content only. We're not giving you legal, financial, or engineering advice. And I'm not a medical doctor. Just a guy on the internet that's trying to help you run your building better. We've helped thousands of people with their building problems, and we've seen what's worked and what hasn't worked with regards to restoring and running condominiums. And we want to share that with you in hopes that it benefits you. If you find this beneficial, please spread the news, forward the link, share the replay, etc. That helps us help more people. So feel free to ask for my CV in the chat. Brooke can put that in there if you want to know more about me. Today is episode 9. It's November 2022. Where we are at right now, it is cold and snowy. We're recovering from Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. So I think everybody can relate to that. And there's the Thanksgiving pie theme again. So today we're going to be covering each month of the year, starting with November and December. So it's a little weird that we're not jumping, January to December, but we're going to start where we're at right now. And so you'll see this, and you'll see how this shapes up. And it kind of breaks into a couple of different formats, but stay with us and you'll see how that breaks down. If you have questions, please enter them into the Q&A tab. The chat is for Brooke to be communicating with you. But if you have questions that you want us to try to get to, put them in the Q&A tab, and we will try to answer as many as that we can get to in this hour, and then we'll add it to the next show. If you have any other topics for shows, please let us know there as well, and we can hopefully build out 2023 to be as good as 2022 was. And speaking of, this is the last live show. Next month's show in December is December 27th. And so that's a rough time for everybody to stay tuned for a thing, but we will be running a best of. So look for that replay and be sure to add that to the calendar. So we will also have a giveaway at the end of this one. There's some cool stuff, very hipster vibe in today's box. I can share that later. So let's get into this. Let's get into what we do each month, starting in November. And so again, our show is based on questions that we receive. And a lot of this came out of, when should I be doing this type of work? Why do I feel like I'm kind of stressed and always behind? So of course that's scheduling and backing up and building in some float time, et cetera. And so bear with me here as we go through this, in the sense of each month. It's not, it doesn't have to be every month you got to do this, but these are the best times. So November is traditionally the best time to begin designs and plans for next year's work. And what I mean by that is, as a architect or an engineer, it takes us a couple of months to get the design and bid packages together. It takes a month to get contractor pricing. It takes a month for you to get your financing and contracts in order. And then bang, what do you know? It's all of a sudden March. And so November is a great time to get those things rolling. And you should be kind of planning for next year, saying, hey, we're doing a big roofing project or a siding project, and so let's get this moving. So if you wait till spring to call a consultant, then they say, okay, 2 months, 1 month, 1 month. Yeah, okay. And in August, we can get moving. And so one of the things that we try to remind everybody is the contractor's pencils are typically sharper for bidding purposes in, the dark December and dark January. It's slow. When you ask them for a bid in June, July, they're swamped. And if you want to do the work, you're going to pay to get onto that schedule. So this is a great time to be looking for that. So another thing to do in November is just start planning. Have you ever tried to buy a snow shovel on the day that it snows? Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, all the hardware stores are all sold out. Same with that salt that you put on the sidewalks. So get that stuff together. Get the driveway salt, the cones, the tape, the sandbags if you need it. Get that stuff together. Put it in the storage closet. Just be ready. But check around your building as well. Check the gutters. Check the yard drains. Check the hose bibs. Put those little styrofoam covers over those hose bibs, keep them from freezing. Make sure the landscaper is blowing out the irrigation system so we're not doing freeze thaw stuff. And this is walk around the site. One of the most dramatic site floods I saw happen was this community had a stream that bordered one side of it, and the stream, went into a culvert, under the driveway and out the other side. And the culvert kind of had this gate or mesh kind of grill to catch sticks and keep them from going in there. Well, with all the wind and the storms in November, everything dropping, sticks had slowly started building up on that culvert, and the stream was running, and finally it got blocked. And so the stream continues to run, and all of a sudden the stream came over its banks, and we started getting calls, building E's lobby is flooding with stream water. And we're like, what are you talking about? And so it's looking around your site, making sure that, the limbs that just fell, making sure all that stuff is cleaned up, maybe even looking at your neighbor's site and say, hey, bud, you got a stream. And if that backs up, it's going to come onto my property. So, do that walk around. So designs, get all your voting done. Get all your voting done in November. Why? So you can start planning for next year, and spending that money, but also nobody wants that kind of meeting in December. Let December be a happy meeting. So let's go to December. So building tips, again, it's keep an eye out for leaks, and it's winter storm time. It's wind, it's snow, it's ice, it's snow buildup, it's gutters, it's overflows, it's things like that. But it's just kind of keep an eye out. Pay attention to symptoms of water staining. Look around. This one is kind of a good one. Go into those little rooms that you don't usually go into. The fire sprinkler room, the garage storage room, the electrical room. Just go in there. What's going on? Hey, did the thermostat get turned off? Is the sensor not working anymore? Is everything looking good in here? Are we ready? Where are those snow shovels? Where is that salt, etc.? And so those are the things. Check your security cameras if they've got battery backups. Batteries are a big thing. Replace all your batteries in your smoke detectors. Just kind of set that, hey, whether we need it or not, we're not going to go chasing around the building for that beeping smoke detector. December, we're going to go through and do this stuff. Spend your remaining budget. This is typically the last month of that annual fiscal year. So spend your budget. You typically don't get to carry it with you. There may be some things you want to do, but let December be a party month as well. And what do we mean there? We're going to put on our counseling hat versus our building doctor hat and say December or the holidays are a great time to do some community morale. And these can be get-togethers. They can be just simple parties. They can be food drives, sock drives. It's cold out, but get some kind of community thing going. Let's make time to welcome the new person. Let's get to know your neighbor a little bit. Let's appreciate and acknowledge volunteers and board members. Read some stat, a statistic the other day, and it said 46% of adults, the last time they were clapped for was at their high school reunion. So let that sink in a little bit. Appreciate your volunteers, clap for them. It's a time to give cards. It's a time to give a little bottle of wine and say thanks. It's a time to give a gift card and say, you know what? I know this is $20 to Uber or to DoorDash, but we appreciate you. Go get some tacos, Meet up in the clubhouse, have some cookies, go to the grocery store, get a little tray of cookies. It doesn't cost that much. You can do candy canes. If you want to go crazy, you can set up a visit from Santa Claus. You can have a lighting contest. I'm just trying to give ideas here for you. Let December be a celebrate the holidays, but also get to know somebody. And so you get to know your neighbor. So we have a free webinar, the top 8 mistakes condo boards make. We'll put that over in the chat. And one of those things is not making time to get together and making every gathering about a vote kind of makes you feel like a number. And so have gatherings that no vote's going to happen. Just come. We just want to say hi, have a cookie, have some coffee, get to know it. And that'll help you in the long run. So now we go to January. What's January full of? New Year's resolutions, new year, new you. Get serious about your goals. Here's what we're going to do this year. We're going to paint the building. We're going to put a roof on. We've got a new board that wants to really get fired up. So we start planning and we start visioning. You now have a budget. It's been approved, but it's also January and it's cold. And so you're going to walk around your building again. You're going to look. You're going to observe. You're going to be just kind of watching. But you're also going to go back inside, have a cup of coffee, sit down with your financials that came, January 10th from December's, full fiscal year. And you can kind of start going through that. Let's do some accounting. It's dark outside, cold outside. We can do some planning. Hey, where did we go over budget? Why did we? What are we spending our money on? Where is it going? And how do we do this stuff? So January is a planning, also observing. Walk around. It is snowing. It's icy. It's doing whatever. Keep an eye on your bill. So February, again, kind of windier and rainier, at least for us in the Pacific Northwest, but it's also snow time. It's time to kind of start paying attention to storm damage. In February, you're going to be scheduling your kind of annual inspections. Are going to be happening more into the summer. You're going to be reviewing your existing reserve study and saying, what are we trying to do this year? Looks like every 10 years, we've got to replace the fence. Do the fences really need to be replaced? So again, we're going to walk out there. We're going to look at them. So this walk around that I'm talking about, send out a message to the community and say, hey, the board is going to be walking around the buildings. You'll see us in your backyard. Please don't shoot. We'll wear a vest. We look like we belong there. If we're taking pictures, if you see us taking pictures, we're trying to gather maintenance information and try to assemble some repair plans here. So just let the community know. Let the community know. Send out a little survey. You can do that now in Google and all these free surveys, very easy to do. And say, hey, do you guys notice anything? Did you see anything over the winter? Any gutters leaking? Any storm damage, et cetera? So that's a good time to start doing that. You're getting ready and getting bids for spring maintenance and construction. So you're starting to make your lists of what needs to be done. Okay. You're still planning, still yucky, but walk around, make a plan, look at your reserve study, get an updated reserve study if you don't have one. March is that kickoff month for the planning we did in November. So if you're planning a big project in November, December, January, February, March, you're hitting the ground running. March is kind of typically the first, real good month to start construction. April showers bring May flowers. March can still be a little bit wet, but you can get under construction. You can get going. And that's kind of March through October is construction season typically. But, those have a little bit of variance with weather. But if you're not doing a big project, schedule with your maintenance contractor. Clear debris from the roof and gutters. It was windy and leaves were falling. When they're up there cleaning and clearing things, have them visually review the roof and report back. Remember, everybody has a phone, even your maintenance guy. He can take pictures. He can text them to you. He can figure out how to use OneDrive, Dropbox, iCloud, etc., and send you a link. Here's the 55 photos I took. You might want to check into this and that. So we're starting to do some maintenance in kind of March and April. So community tips, your association has a repair team or a construction committee, etc. You're getting rolling on that stuff. And so, March is already end of Q1, quarter one. And so Q2, what are we doing in Q2 and Q3? And that's kind of the big push season to get stuff done. So Sharpies push through siding. This is kind of into the next slide here. So April April, let's call it the big, I've walked around and looked around your property. Now it's time to do the real hands-on inspection. We are actually looking at things. We are physically touching, poking, prodding. Everybody wants to use a knife, right? So I don't have a knife on me, but knives normally poke into things. So it doesn't show anything, but a pen or a ballpoint pen stabbed into your siding in that previous video, you can see that pen. Pens aren't supposed to go into sheathing. This is bad. Everybody can look at this picture and go, ooh, yuck. That's not right. Now, if it was a knife, we'd go, knives are supposed to stab things. So use your pen, poke around, check your decks and balconies for soft wood, your railings, look for separation and cracking of deck membranes and seams. If you have soft spots or if you have opening things, give us a call or just, take notes on it. We have this, everybody can do FaceTime and Zoom, right? So we have a service on our website. You can call us up and say, hey, does this seam look good to you? And we're virtually looking at the building together. And we can say, yeah, don't look good. Go up, use your fingernail, press on the building, press on the trim up there. Ooh, soft, isn't it? Okay, we should probably get out there and do a bigger inspection, right? So April is the investigating hands-on. So if you want to do that yourself, here's the DIY condo inspection free guide, how to inspect, right over here, how to inspect your own building. You can download this. You can, that link will be in the chat. And so DIY, or we'd be happy to do it for you. Either one. So let's jump into May. So again, inspecting things. So this is the April, May, again, is hands-on building time. We've planned, we've observed, and now we're touching. Now we're poking. Now we're taking the building's blood pressure, so to speak. We're actually doing some things in April and May. And so May is a good time for inspecting windows and doors. It's a good time for other operational items. If you have a bigger building, maybe it's clubhouse, maybe it's other things that need to be kind of checked on. And we'll get to a maintenance schedule here for you later, but we'll show you how to do that. You look in the windows. Remember, we had another window thing. You've got another window webinar. You're looking for your window weeps. Are they open? Are they working well? And you can see that from the outside. And if it's full of gunk, you're going to take your highly calibrated paper clip and you're going to kind of dig it out. And you're going to get that pine needle and lint and stuff like that out. And from the inside, you pop that window out, you take the window out, and down on your track, here's where your window is. Down on your track, you can put a little hook in there. You can actually pull that out. And then when I'm in that track, I can see, I don't know if you can see that. You can see that little hole. That weeps from any water that gets in there, and it comes out there. And so then you snap the track back in, put the window back on. But this doing the window is kind of a resident thing, right? From the outside, we can be inspecting it. And then if your inspector or your painter or your window cleaner is up there and saying, oh, that window, that has bad sloppy sills and it needs to be cleaned out, they can put a little piece of blue tape on the glass. And so that you as a board or you as a manager can look up at the elevation of your building and go, oh, unit 303 has a blocked weep. And then when 303 comes home, they'll see a little piece of blue tape and they'll check their email and they'll be like, oh yeah, if you have a piece of blue tape on your window, follow this link. J2 will show you how to pull out your thing, clean out your track so that your window is working correctly. And that way we don't have to come bother you and do it for you. So easy way to do that. Again, maybe you're having your painter already paint the shutters or already paint the fascia, or gutter cleaner guy is already up there looking around. They can put a little piece of tape on the window and maybe clean some stuff out for you as well. Or, we can do that survey for you too. Either one. June. Well, there you go. Infomercial. So you need a little extra advice. Schedule a one-on-one free 15-minute call with me. Scan that QR code, go to that link, get me on the phone. Hey, I'm standing in front of my building. Does this deck seam failure crack thing look right to you, gents? Nope, doesn't. Or, yeah, caulk it, put it in your maintenance plan. Do you have to call a consultant for every little thing? Absolutely not. And so this is a great way to see if we're the right fit for your call and to get a free little 15-minute walk around of your building and go from there. Super easy to use. So now we can get to June. June and July are the big sunny months. So here's where we are: June, July, August. We are actually doing the work. And so on your DIY inspections that you did the previous month, you identified some stuff. So now in June, we're going to take care of it. We're also going to do some pre-planned work that maybe is on a reserve study. We're going to maybe do a heavier duty. It's time to call a consultant and get a complete building envelope evaluation. So you're going to document this stuff. You're going to either get us on Zoom or get us out there to look. And we're going to start doing that. So June for communities and June for managers. Now is the time to start your budget. Preliminary budget season begins now. Why? Because June, July, we're getting bids for next year. August, we want to have pre-approval. September, we want board approval. October, we want HOA approval. So kind of monthly laying it out for you means you're starting your budgets in June. So get your budgets moving in June. June is also a good time to back to like deck inspections. Got 156 decks. Reserve study says we need to be replaced next year. Probably better investigate all 156 of them. Better get a list, prioritize the worst ones, and start implementing repair plans. And so that's what kind of June and July are for. Okay, July. Well, your visual thing in June identified some problems, so let's do a little bit more investigation. This is an invasive investigation, stucco building. There's some windows. We opened up the stucco. Plywood was totally missing. And there's a big glulam beam about 2 feet tall that is holding up a second floor that is looking very unhappy. And so we need to get that beam shored up and replaced. Lots of water damage. Stucco looked pretty good. There was some cracks, and those cracks came out of that. Hey, I'm seeing some cracks. This is weird. Why do I see these cracks? Let's look a little more. June, we investigated maybe visually. July, we're tearing it open and getting to the bottom of it. Okay. So makes sense. June, July, August, do your exterior work. Okay, August. Take the month off. Everybody's gone anyway. Everybody's on vacation. Plan a party. Here is the other time you party. And notice they're 6 months apart. December, August, throw another party. It's not Christmas time, but it's summertime. And so work on your community morale again. It doesn't have to be expensive. I serve on a lot of boards, and in Halloween, we did a hot dog and hot apple cider thing for the Halloween trick-or-treating event. And it was 100 hot dogs, went to Costco, got all that stuff, really about $150. And we fed 75 to 100 people. And so it's really not expensive, easy to do. It could just be an ice cream social. It could be a chili cook-off. It could be a crock pot contest. You can make it as fun as you want. You can spend as much as you want. You can hire a bouncy house. You can buy a taco truck to come into the parking lot. But again, make it announcements, make it appreciation, make it ask for new members to join the board, welcome new residents, no votes, no have tos, but, tell people, hey, we're going to be doing another, survey in September, or you saw us looking at some stuff in April, May, June, and here's what we found. We're updating you. We're going to put that on next year's to-do list. And so we're keeping people in touch, but we're also having fun. And again, it doesn't have to be expensive, but clap for some people, acknowledge them. Yeah, here's a good story. We have a building with a playground, and one retired guy keeps the playground working well. And so the group got the kids to sign a card to say, thanks for keeping our swings swinging. And you should have seen when he opened that up, he just stood taller, and oh man, it was the best day he's had. So do that. Find the people that you can recognize and recognize them. So that's August. Okay. September and October, they're kind of booked together here. So the rain's going to start. The biggest thing you can do here is furnaces turn on. And so birds build their nests in the ductwork. And so every time about this season, people turn on the furnace and it smokes out the inside of their unit. And so inspecting the chimneys, we're going to start burning fires if we have wood. And so, it's kind of over the summer. Let's get this cleaned out. Let's get these things figured out. Maybe consider servicing your HVAC system. The AC has been running hard. That heat pump could use a service. And the filters are clean, and we're kind of going into September, October here. So the walk around the building, again, do these walkarounds and look at your trees and shrubs. They've all grown. Maybe they're leaning into the building. They're touching the building. They're touching the siding. The ants run over those branches and get into the siding and make a nest. And, that's how we get problems. So trim things 12 inches away. Landscaper, I want you to come one more time. I know you've done a good job on the lawns. Let's trim the bushes back. Let's trim the roof, the branches back from the roof 10 feet. Let's make sure the gutters are clean. The yard catch basins are clean. We're talking to our landscape contractor about, hey, we're going to get some wind in November. What does it cost to come once or twice and do a blow, rake cleanup? And has the irrigation been turned off? Do we need to winterize it? Who should we be calling just in case we get snow and we have to do plowing? A lot of your landscapers also have a snow plow, and we don't think to call the grass guy for snow. And so they can help you. They can help you figure that out. So September, October, you're kind of back to school. You're kind of, you're starting to look at things. We're starting to wake up. We've returned from vacation in August. We had that party. Everybody had a good time. September, October, kids are going back to school. It's starting to get dark. We're starting to, let's get winterized here, right? And if you're really on top of your game, your budget is almost done and you are, getting things ready for next year. So to recap, in November, we've already talked about the stuff. So November is the time you start getting ready for repairs. Start and just, get that snow shovel, get that salt, get that stuff in order. And December, have that party. So let's talk about some summary slides here. So from a budget summary, June, we're going to do preliminary budgets. We're going to get the manager's going to get those together. The board is going to review the budgets in July. August, we're going to have any revisions. September, we're going to have board approval. October, HOA budget approval. Here's the HOA meeting. And November, we're going to start working on things. So there's float built into this. Why? We do that on purpose, just in case we got to skip the August meeting. Budget revisions, we're taking the month off. Jen said to take the month off and have a party. Okay, great. Do your budget revisions in September. But you're also getting bids. June, July, August, we're getting bids for next year. And we're making our vendors hold those numbers. And we're talking to them about, let's make sure we get that, let's get a good number. So here's kind of a budget summary, just a reminder. And then in Q4, board activity slows down when the budget's been exhausted. We start thinking about next year. We might be finishing up some last minute items to use up budget. So that's kind of a budget Q4-ish kind of thing. So, and you're getting bids all summer for this extra work. So here's your budget. Put that on your calendar. I want to be reviewing budgets, and I want the board to be approving the budget in September, and so that we can go to that October HOA meeting. Okay. Next slide. So other schedule disruptors. And, Jens, why isn't there something to do every month? Come on. You kind of have the same thing for, excuse me, for 2 or 3 months. I want something to do every single month. Okay. Calm down. Be flexible. And change happens. I don't know about your life, but my life doesn't work out exactly how I planned it. So give yourself some room, give yourself some float, be a little flexible, because we're going to have some disruptors. We're going to have board change over. We're going to have new members. We're going to have people move and quit, and existing people have to be brought on board. On the flip side, got an email from a board president today. Hey, I've been involved in this for 5 years. I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely burned out, but I want to make sure this thing gets launched correctly. So I'm staying on the board to get it passed and done and in good hands. 45% of my board members tell me that. My term is 2 years. I'm going on 6 because I just need to see this thing through to leave it in good hands, so that, be sure to get things decided and signed before your good leaders leave the board. Now, your HOA may say, hey, you ramrodding this through on us. Well, you're not. If you're communicating it effectively, remember, you're taking 2 months of the year to have a party and talk about announcements and talk about stuff and say, hey, there's going to be board openings. We want new people on the board. We're going to resolve. We have these inspection plans. We have all these bids. We're ready to get moving. There's a process to our madness, and you can join the board anytime and watch. So, that type of stuff. Schedule disruptors, required HOA meetings. So I've read a lot of bylaws. Real common, it is pretty common in there for them to say you have a required number of meetings, and they at least have 2, maybe one, couple have 1, but some I see have 2. You're going to have 1 meeting for financial vote and approval. You're going to have another meeting for election of officers. And maybe they give you some guidance. One of those meetings happens in the spring. One of those meetings happens in the fall. Typically, the fall is the financial one, so we can approve our budget, get it all approved for next year. And the midterm, or June through September, kind of the school year, is the election cycle. So other bylaws have once a quarter, once a month. Read your bylaws, understand when your required HOA meetings are, and understand in that 2 meeting thing where I said 1 is financial and 1 is elections, you're not going to get anything else done. And so pick those months where you have very little going on the outside of the building. We don't need to inspect anything. We don't need to discuss the maintenance plan. We have a board full of board votes, or a board meeting full of board votes. So we're an HOA meeting full of key things that we have to discuss and vote on. So these are things you have to work in. We had a box there, beat the rush. This is kind of a fun, we were looking back at our proposal request activity. And as a consultant that services a lot of condominiums, we see our largest demand for proposals in March, August, and November. And so November is those people getting ready for that bigger project next year. March is, hey, January, we were kind of still hungover from December, and February, we kind of decided to start working on things. And March, we need a proposal to get that work done this spring. Okay, not going to happen. Remember, it takes 4 or 5 months to get something going. So you guys are already behind. And then August is that budget season. Hey, we're kind of in the middle of our budgeting and we need to know what this is going to cost next year. Can you help us? So March, August, and November is when the crowd pressure hits us. If your board is planning ahead, you should be requesting services in February and October. Those are typically a little slower, right? So think about getting your bids done February, October, and you'll get faster service. If you are in a hurry and you need to get that budget done, we do have a service there. We have an option for you to skip the proposal process altogether. Go to our website. There's a few simple, basic things, visual investigation, et cetera, are on our website. Price is included. You can sign up right there. Don't have to wait a week for a proposal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do some of that there. As a board, yeah, I'm just kind of that board counseling there. Consider hanging around for another year to get things done, kind of keeping things moving. When we're getting new board members up to speed, it takes some time. Hi, welcome to the board. I don't even know what Robert's Rules of Orders are, much less what bylaws are. So it takes some time to train your replacement if you are forward thinking enough to do that. And it takes some time to get board alignment. We need to argue about it. We need to come back next month. And, I realized what you said. Yeah, that kind of made sense, but I'm still a couple months to talk about things and wrestle through things. It's called, marinating. It's called, wrestling with it. It's called, coming to resolution. So it takes a few months to do that. So as a board or a board member, consider the timing, consider staying on a little bit, consider helping with that. But we also help boards with some board coaching or kind of some board trainings, and not just citing related. We can kind of help you. Hey, here's how you're a brand new board. The last board complete up and quit. Let me help you through some of this stuff. So reach out if you have some of those questions about that. Okay, and then kind of the last slide here for every nerd in the world, every engineer at heart. Here is a maintenance schedule. And so this is what we put in our maintenance plan that some states require. So, we kind of break it down. We talk about different types of siding and cladding, maybe some different types of roof, some painted trim or siding or things, sealants, deck membranes. And we say spring and fall, annual, every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Now, granted, this kind of thinking is in a perfect void. And so we also have post-storm. And so, hey, I looked at it last year, so I don't have to look at it again. Well, you just had a big storm, and so you better look at it again. And so just take that observation. So the inspect can be lightweight, and especially on an annual basis. And this is where we are pushing you to do your little DIY. Walk around, look, get a cup of coffee, make the association buy you a cup of coffee. You walk around, sip your coffee, take some pictures with your phone and go, look pretty good. This stuff turns into your baseline, and it can turn into an inspection if you just turn it into an inspection of, I walked the site, I visually reviewed, here's the photos, I don't find any areas of concern. Here's what I saw at this point in time. So that, if you're ever asked or challenged, hey, were you guys ever even paying attention? Oh, yeah. We're volunteers, but we used this guide that was put together. We used this inspection schedule plan that was put together. We did our own little thing. Here it is. Everybody can read it. And maybe every other year or every 3 years, we hire a consultant to confirm. And then you give those reports to the consultant. Hey, here's what we've been doing. It's not, super high tech engineering, but gives you a baseline. So I can come to that building and go, what's this crack doing here? Oh, this crack's been here for quite a while. So I'll be like, okay, why isn't it sealed? Man, we want to get that sealed to keep water out. But Very helpful. And it builds up your list of information and passes it on to the next board. And you can use it for liability protection because it's an inspection. So we have a little disclaimer down there. Make sure your restain and recode is needed. We say it's expected to last 30 years. Well, or you only need to tuck point and reseal every 5 years. Well, maybe you should look at it before, and that's why we're looking at it every year. Maybe it'll last 4, maybe it'll last 10, but 5 years is a rule of thumb and 40 years is a rule of thumb. We all know buildings in the historic part of town that are 100 years old and they have brick on them. And so they've lasted 100 years. And so just use that common sense. Okay, that is it. Now you're going to get a replay of all this stuff. So you'll have kind of each month, you'll have those months, you'll have this maintenance schedule, you have the do it yourself guides. Those are in the chats. So we can get to Q&A. And I see one question in there right now. So as you're thinking about them, jot them down real fast, but I wanted to do big takeaways to remember. So for your annual, I'm going to look at my building and I'm going to keep track of it. First thing is take the time and the thought energy to plan your projects well in advance, right? It's not rocket science, but it's make time. It's January, it's December, it's cold. I don't feel like walking around, but I can do some accounting. I can look at my reserve study. I can start visioning. I can say, what kind of building do we want this year? What does the landscaping want to look like this year? That flower arrangement we had in the gardens was really commented on. How do we get that back? Who was that landscaper that helped us do that? And so you're planning your projects well in advance. Number 2, walk around, observe, document, make your list. And a little scratched up list done on your phone, text it off to your consultant. You can text it to anybody and say, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Should we run a little survey? Should we get the rest of the homeowners to kind of participate in this and get going on this? So walk around. Once a month, walk around. It's stormy, it's windy, it's rainy. Anything changing? Yeah, looks okay. And then number 3, make the time to get your community a community and make the time to get to know each other, welcome each other, acknowledge each other, appreciate each other, and inform. And don't always make it about a vote. We are more than just a number. You don't need me at the meeting to have a vote, the pressure there. It's just, we're not going to vote. We're going to have coffee and cookies and maybe some hot apple cider. And somebody is bringing their favorite apple pie recipe. And we're back to pie. See, I just did that. Somebody's making pie and we're going to chat. It can be 30 minutes. Doesn't have to be in the board president's living room. Find a common area, hold it outside, have an ice cream social. A gallon of ice cream and the stack of cones goes a long way for about $30. And so do those 3 things as you're working through your building each month. So let's jump into the Q&A. Megan, what is the best way to schedule good plumbing inspections? As it seems the ones that leak are always in the least accessible areas. Good question. And I hope you saw last month's plumbing webinar. But schedule plumbing inspections. Plumbing inspections and to see if they're leaking. I would start by paying attention to your leak report. Hey, we just had a water loss over here. We're starting to get a pattern. Water losses they happen once every other year. But bam, bam, bam. What happened? Broken pipe, or flooded thing. Okay, we're starting to get the same fitting that breaks in the shower. So then you can start, we're going to come in and inspect your shower fittings and we need to do this. Here's why, because we've had a couple of things that aren't working and breaking. And so the ones that leak are always in the least accessible areas. Yeah, plumbing is in the walls and it's hard. Surveys. Have you noticed any plumbing problems? Do you have good pressure? Do you have good, good clean water? It's not brown. See any weird stains? Get people to participate. Surveys are free, and SurveyMonkey, Constant Contact, Google Forms, or all these various survey things are instant and easy to do, and everybody can answer from their phone. So, and again, you can also talk about it, December and August. Hey guys, is anybody experiencing any water leaks? We had one water leak this summer, and we want to make sure we stay ahead of that. So hopefully I answered your question. So we have no other questions. So let's get on to the fun stuff. Here is the, come on, you can do it, giveaway. All right. I am going to show you the giveaway box, and it is cool. So it's holiday season. You've got some hot spiced whatever in a thermal cup. You've got a J2 beanie here. Let me hold that up. I'm not going to put it on. But yeah, it's getting cold out. We can go skiing. We've got J2 lanyard for your keys. We've got a nice hot cup of coffee, J2 brew that goes in there. We've got, got the headache kit. Hey, is your building giving you a headache? This was a big hit, one of our handouts. So we've got some antacid, we got some Tums, we got some Advil, we've got some, little things in there for those holiday parties. You might want this. We've got a little holiday card. We've got some stickers. Be like the cool kids and put stickers on your water bottles. So we are going to choose. We've got the hipster. So this would be the Seattle, Portland. And Salt Lake City's getting pretty hipster now. So we've got the hipster giveaway for the holidays. And we're going to pick, let's see, number 9. 9 sounds like a good number. So Brooke will reach out to you. You're all listed in your, number of attendees. So she's going to find number 9, and she's going to reach out to you and figure out a way to mail this off to you. And that was the giveaway. And so if you like these free resources, obviously stay signed up for the webinar. We also go to our website. We have a ton of free resources. Go to the website page, j2consultants.com/resources, and you'll see lots of our videos, handouts, inspection guides, all that jazz. And don't forget, we'll be back on December 27th. Christmas is on the 26th, observed on the 26th. It's going to be the best of the Building Doctor Show. So scan this QR code. And everybody who's currently signed up will get a message, but let your board know, and let's crank this up to 150 registrars, people registered. How about that? So thanks for attending, and the great question, Megan, thank you, and have a happy holidays, guys. Inspect your buildings, have a great time, create some community. Thanks for watching.